everyone, Fluffy here. Today I will be doing the make-ahead meals that you and I discussed. I will be doing a meatloaf and 12 egg cups. Sorry I have to do it this way. I literally did this with tissue up my nose and the tissue is still there. So right now I will be cutting up all the vegetables that I need for both dishes. That way it's done and over with, because of course once I start handling the meat, I am not going to want to touch too much else due to cross-contamination. So the housekeeper was here today, so I have a garbage bowl to my left to try to keep the damage at a minimum, because I am a messy cook. Simply mincing or small dicing the onions first for the egg cups. Since the cavities are so small, of course, all the veggies should be cut up really small. Sorry I can't give you exact measurements on this because I am a chop and dump type of person, and it really depends on you. You like a lot of onions, put a lot of onions. I like a lot of onions. You like bell, you know what I mean? I remembered after everything was done that I wanted to put some mushrooms in both dishes, and it simply did not happen. Remember, the best laid plans. Now I'm, of course, cutting up the onions for the meatloaf. I could have chopped them just slightly smaller once I got done with the meatloaf, which you'll see in the end, but it ended up working out just fine. Everything did get cooked. So again, cut them up and add whatever vegetables that you would like in your meatloaf. I'm not putting the stuff in a garbage bowl. To the left of the garbage bowl is a plate where I put all of the vegetables for the meatloaf in. I will probably speed things up a little bit here. Try to do the voiceover first because I'm new at doing voiceover, but some parts of this will be sped up. No sense of spending 15 minutes watching me cut out vegetables, right? Depends on how long this video ends up being. Those muffin tins, while you watch me chop, the muffin tins and the meatloaf pan, it's a smaller meatloaf pan than what I'm used to, but it'll work. Could not find either one of them anywhere. And then after I bought them today, as I was setting up the meatloaf pan, I have a glass one up in the laundry room on the shelf, but now I have two. So the only thing that the celery will be going into, you see it there off to your right by the tea kettle, is the celery. It's just going to be going into the meatloaf. That beep was me turning on the oven to preheat it, and I think you, as you can hear behind me, the dogs thinks it's somebody here. The best cuts, y'all, I would be chopped. But it's mildly meatloaf, so who cares, right? So again, I'm just measuring by sight, looking at the loaf pan, looking at how much of these items I wanted the actual meatloaf. So y'all will just have to eyeball it yourself. You don't like bell peppers? Leave them out. I can't believe I got the good angle that I did, because I really truly suck at getting these kind of angles. You saw that when I made my pimento cheese, but then again, I didn't have the stand. that I have now. There I decided that I just didn't have quite enough bell peppers, so I decided to chop up just a little bit more. Now in hindsight, I probably could have cut down the length of the celery and then chopped them up like this, but like I said, in the end, they cooked and they were done. So, lion celery, y'all. There you go. There's all the cut up veggies for the meatloaf. Now right now I'm getting 2 Ziploc bags for the onion and the bell pepper. I've been trying to teach myself to clean up as I go along because I am a messy cook. So here I'm getting the Black Forest ham that I had in the Caesar salad. I debated how many slices that I want, and I ended up, look, it looks like 6 or 8 there. And again, remember, every 6 is 1 carb. Of course, you have small carbs in the onions and in the bell peppers, but they're very minuscule. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 carbs for a whole medium white onion, so, or a whole cup. And you can see there that is not anywhere near a cup. And it's going to be spread out through 12 egg cups. Quick and easy. What I'm about to show you. Right, almost 8 minutes, Fluff, and you haven't cooked a thing. Y'all, these are my favorite bowls ever. I love these bowls. I use them for everything. I use these to mix my salad kit. Oh, thank you. Realized I had one of the cords underneath the thingy and it just tipped over. So while I'm cracking eggs, this thing's going to take a lot of editing. So it is now 1:32 in the afternoon and I'm 8 minutes through the filming or watching the editing. So three, 6, 7, 8. What do I do? 3, 6, 9 or 10 eggs. Now I'm going to spray the egg cups with this olive oil that I got at Aldi's a while back, and I like to spray them in the sink because if it gets on the floor, of course, you can slip and fall. So if you spray them in the sink, you just have to watch out the sink. I'm not a genius. I got that tip from someone else. Somebody off Food Network, I imagine. But it did work out because the floor was not at all slippery. I don't know why, but I guess I felt you needed to see the sprayed off egg cups. I'm hoping I don't have to edit out any of the video, because the more edits that I make, the longer it takes to upload. Added some salt and some pepper. Again, I don't measure out. I just kind of throw it in there and see if it looks right to me. Didn't do a whole lot of salt because, of course, ham is salty, bacon is salty, etc. That is a 1/4 cup measure. I just put just like less than half of that in there. I find that water and not milk tends to make the eggs scrambled eggs fluffier. Heavy whipping cream also works really well, because heavy whipping cream, when you whip it, it starts to become whipped cream, and so it makes them really fluffy. I was having a hard time there. I had to stop a second. Just so you know, yeah, this kicked my hind leg. And I didn't really realize that my big fat arm was in the way, so I apologize, y'all. Now this next part, I don't know if you've ever seen anyone do it before, but I'm telling you, it works really well. That beeping was just to let me know that the oven was done preheating, and it is now at 350. Anyway, this next trick that I do, I learned from Mongshi when the Koreans do their steam eggs. They do this technique, and I find that it works really, really well. I don't always do it because I don't usually have time for standing, but I'm feeling pretty good today, except for this tissue up my nose. So I decided to go ahead and do it. Right now, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to use as the second bowl, and you'll see why in just a second. That creaking that you hear is my pantry. It certainly needs some WD-40. The trick is to strain your eggs. When you strain your eggs like this, all that extra, you know what I'm talking about. When you separate an egg, it's that last little piece that goes with the yolk, and any of those white parts, any of that thick stuff stays in the strainer, as you can see, and so what's left is really smooth yolk. I'm sure some of y'all have seen that before. Move everything away so that I can readjust so that y'all can see. And this is my first time doing it, y'all. I feel like I want to speed some of this up, but I don't know how it affects my voice over. So y'all will have to let me know if you like it this way or what I could change. I know one thing you probably want is to be able to see me, but I just don't know how to do it and see me at the same time. Here I'm just separating all the vegetables between all the egg cups. Now, I suppose you could mix the vegetables in with the egg, but I feel like when you, just like when you do French toast, you know, your first few will have all the cinnamon in there, and then the last few French toasts don't. So I felt like this was the best way to make sure there was the closest to even amount of spread out veggies and meat in each cup. Right here, I had forgotten that I wanted to do spinach in them, so all I did was chiffonade it. Basically, chiffonade just means to cut into strips. So I just cut into strips the spinach. Now I did 6 of each. I did 6 ham and 6 bacon. All right, trust me, that extra ham did not go to waste. This bacon I'm about to show you, it was something that my daughter found at Aldi's. It is already cooked bacon. Dividing it up into the 6. That bacon smelled good from the moment I opened it, y'all. I could see me getting another bag again if I could find it. And last but not least, before the egg mixture, is cheese. Now, I guess you could top it with cheese, but when you can see later that pretty much everything just sinks below the egg. Hands aren't really working. They're tired after all that cutting. A real hard time getting that cheese open, y'all. Wasn't really sure how much. I knew that the egg would expand, so I tried not to fill them all the way up. But I had to go a little over because, you know, once the egg settles, it drops down a little bit, so. Now, as you can see, the 9 eggs weren't enough, so I ended up doing 3 more eggs, and I whipped and strained them just like the previous eggs. So because that one was a little bit full, I went ahead and, of course, I made a mess, but I tried to divide it to more and fill up the rest of them, so that they were all halfway even, because that one next to it didn't seem quite full enough. So just stealing from a couple to bring that up. So it was in the oven, 350 for 20 minutes. Put you on pause after this to clean up my mess to get ready for the meatloaf. Everything's wiped down and ready for the meatloaf. In that package is a little over 5 pounds. A little over 5 pounds. But at this point, I have to be real careful about. I have everything out that I actually want to touch after I touch raw hamburger meat. I was going to divide it into 5, and I thought the best way would just be to cut it into 4ths. See, I was trying to do 5, and it just wasn't working. So I just went ahead and scored it up and down, and then across, and use that way. Divide it that way. trying to, in my mind, looking at the loaf pan, looking at the bowl of beef. In this, I have salt, pepper, a little bit of comino, garlic powder, and parsley. These here, this is homemade breadcrumbs. Actually, y'all, it is the low-carb bread that I had let dry for a couple of days and then ground it up in the food processor. It wasn't all of them. I did about 6 slices, but I have plans for the rest of it. Again, just eyeballing how much breading I think I needed. In go all the vegetables. I find that if I don't put some kind of breading in there, the meatloaf ends up becoming absolutely too dense. The best utensils are your hands, y'all. I hope it doesn't gross anybody out that I'm using my hands. As I'm mixing, I realize that it is still too dry because I used dry breadcrumbs. I know my mom takes bread and soaks it in milk and then does it, as I'm sure a lot of you do. With the spices, the ex used to use the Lipton onion soup mix, and I thought that was a really great idea. But for one, we didn't have any, and for two, anything pre-made like that is going to have carbs in it, and I was really trying to keep these low-carb items. So I went and got one more egg, and that seemed to do the trick. Guess I could have put one more egg in there, but I decided that what I did was enough. I have already sprayed that, as y'all can see. And in it goes. As we get down. Now this is 70-30 hamburger meat, so it will shrink a little bit. Ended up being a lot of oil or meat grease at the bottom. Look, I missed that little piece right there. Didn't realize it, dang it. Got away from me. Now, this may surprise y'all, or maybe not. I do not like ketchup on my meatloaf. My mother's German, and she used to put a cream of mushroom gravy on top when she cooked it. So I don't like ketchup. The ex used to put ketchup on there, but not so much that it would gag me. So at this point, if you wanted to, this would be when you would put the ketchup on top. I chose not to do anything. Again, I know that my hands are contaminated. I had that pan at the ready. So, and since it was so full, I decided to put a pan underneath it so that it would not ruin my stove. Having to move the egg cups over to make room for the loaf. It baked. You saw that, my little glimpse of my hair, y'all? I'm pathetic. I'm having a bad day. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and it's been 20 minutes for the egg cups, and they need to come out. Look at that, y'all. Don't they look like popovers? That's what straining your egg cups will do, your eggs will do. Now, as they cool, they will sink, but look how much they puffed up. That was my noisy behind and moving the meatloaf back into the center now that these egg cups are done. Remember, I did 6 ham and 6 bacon. Put to my mukbang dish rack. Can you hear me? I don't know if at this point I decided to mute the background noise. I'm going to get one of each to give you a close-up of what they look like close up. I was going to do a mukbang and have 2 of the egg cups and the meatloaf. I ended up eating them, but not on camera, y'all, because I was no better with the nostrils than before. Look at that. You see the little flecks of bacon and that spinach. Look at that. Let me cut one open for you. That is the bacon. Look at that bacon. My gracious. Come on back, Fluff. Show us. There we go. Did you hear that, Fluffy? They are done. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, that was telling me that the egg cups were done. Okay, this section of it, I will have to edit out the volume or the sound because I was watching Food Network while this meatloaf was cooking, and I forgot to mute it. So I don't want any copyright strikes. Now, ideally, you would let the meatloaf cool before you take it out. I did not take it all the way out, as you will see, but I did want to get a slice out to show y'all what one slice looked like to give you a close-up. And yes, that is the same plate, y'all. Don't judge me. Cut real easy. I sprayed it real well. Having it be the 70-30 really helped the meatloaf to come out. You see how the onion fell out of there? That's why I'm thinking I might have done one more egg. But look at that. Even though those are kind of hunky vegetables, it makes it look so pretty, and it is so delicious. I think I'm going to try it right here in front of y'all. Yep, I am. And I suppose since I didn't show my face, I could have talked through the whole time, but I did not. So there you have it. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I pack these up. What I ended up doing was I put one of each. When I ate the 2, I was full. Had I just put one in a bag, I would have been wasting bags because I know that I would need at least 2 to get full. I do the same thing when I have boiled eggs. Because these egg cups really averaged about 1 egg per cavity. So I ended up doing a dozen eggs. Yes, I'm using my hands, my eggs, my rules. So what I ended up doing by the end of this video, I had run out of the sandwich bags for the meatloaf because I would have put one slice in one bag and then put all the slices in a gallon size freezer bag like you will see me do in these freezer cups. So what I ended up doing is just saran wrapping each slice and then sticking it in the gallon size bag. That is the only thing that you actually missed about this video. All in here, the double protection of the Ziploc bag, And the larger bag will protect it in the freezer. But I guarantee you, as delicious as these things were, they're not going to be in there very long. 5 breakfasts right there, right? No. Yeah. God bless y'all. Positive vibes out to each and every one of you. Remember to always be kind and be your own advocate. I will talk to y'all real soon.